What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Panther Nation Podcast. We're crossing enemy lines once again, and today we have Stoney from the Unofficial Titans Podcast with us today. So, how's it going, Stoney? Welcome to the show. Feel free to introduce yourself real quick. Let the people know where they can find you. Give a little brief introduction, bro.
Sounds good. Thank you guys very much for having me. I'm happy to be on. I wish it was about a game that I was a little more optimistic about than this one that's coming up Sunday. I don't like our chances very much, but I do cover the Tennessee Titans along with a myriad of other topics and nonsense for SoBrosNetwork.com. The Unofficial Titans Podcast on Overtime Media is my baby, so it's something I enjoy doing, providing a little bit of Titans opinions and analysis, stuff like that. You can hit me on Twitter at Stoney Keeley, StoneyKeeley. Thankfully, that's a pretty unique name, so I didn't have to fight anybody for the Twitter handle. And then collectively at Sobros Titans.
Nice, nice. Well, welcome to the show, and we'll get into you. I'm really interested to dig in why you're not confident about this game, but we'll get to that. You guys are 4-4, as you were saying before we went live. You're 4-4. Had a little bit of quarterback switch there with Marcus Mariota getting the boot. How do you before we really dive into it, how do you feel about Marcus Mariota and moving on potentially from him, and how does the fan base feel about that?
Well, I think the fan base is divided first and foremost. You had people that were diehard Mariota ride or die fans, and then you had people that were trying to run him out of town 2 seasons ago. So it's been a very divided fan base on the issue. Look, I think it was just time. I mean, at this point, he'd played for 4 seasons and 6 games, if I'm not mistaken, and he just hadn't done enough to establish himself as the guy in Tennessee. Now, I also think multiple things can be true. It can be true that Mariota did not play well enough to assert himself as the franchise quarterback, and it can be true that the Titans coaching staff had no idea how to use him properly. He couldn't stay healthy enough, but none of those excuses eliminate the fact that he just didn't do enough to establish himself. And you're seeing a positive impact. The Titans are 2-0 since they made the switch to Tannehill. He's throwing the ball better. He's much more decisive. He's better at sensing pressure in the pocket, and you're seeing the benefit of that right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we kind of in similar scenarios. We got Kyle Allen, obviously due to Cam Newton being hurt, who didn't fare so well against the 49ers, throwing his first, second, and third picks of the season against the 49ers. But before then, he was getting his game manager on and looking okay, and going what 5-0 as a starter, and now he's lost his first game. So the quarterback switch is kind of similar. Albeit you guys have a vet who has starting experience, and we're
Hey,
going
yo,
to an
Shot,
undrafted free agent. Go ahead, Dave.
you're a little low, buddy.
Okay, yeah, I turned myself down just due to the audio. I try to get us even. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
All right,
just
that's fine. I
turn
just
me
want to
up,
make sure you were aware.
turn me up, bro. Yeah, I turn. We're all on the same levels here. But yeah, so yeah, going back to this game. So we're both 4-4, and Titans. I mean, this is one of you guys are undefeated inside of Bank of America Stadium. I don't know if you knew that or not,
I
but
didn't know that.
yeah, you guys
Yeah.
are. This is the third time you guys have come to Bank of America Stadium, and you guys are 2-0 against us inside of the bank. So, I mean, you history is on your side. So, can we dive into a little bit of why you're a little bit why you're not as confident? Because I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence with this one, and maybe throughout our discussions I'll come to a final conclusion. But why are you on the fence with this game?
Because I don't think that the Titans have fared very well against elite competition this season. And I do think, despite what happened last week at the hands of the 49ers, I mean, look, everybody's had bad days against the 49ers this season. So I don't put a lot of stock into last week. And I think there's still a good defense to play against. You saw what the Denver Broncos did to this Titans offense, albeit that was before the quarterback switch. But I just feel like this team is not really putting their foot on the throat of the opponent the way that they should. It took two back-to-back fourth down plays by Jarrell Casey to ensure victory the last 2 weeks
Yeah,
over the Los Angeles Chargers, who stink, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who aren't very good either. So I just don't feel, I feel like there's going to be an uptick in competition this week, and they're going to face a back that they haven't faced this season before in Christian McCaffrey. You look at how they performed against Austin Eckler and Devontae Freeman, kind of uh, backs that are going to pile up receiving
Yeah.
yards, and there was room for them to make plays in those games earlier in the season against the Chargers and the Falcons. So I think they're going to struggle with McCaffrey, and I don't know that they're going to be able to score enough on against this defense to hammer this one home.
Well, here's the thing I've noticed about your defense. The Titans actually have a pretty good defense, man. You guys got the ninth best defense in the NFL, the fourth best score defense. So you guys can hold your own on the defensive side of the ball. I can understand the concerns on offense, but you do have Derrick Henry, and he's pretty good at running the ball, and we're not really good at stopping the run.
And I think for the Titans, that's going to be the key to this matchup, because they are very stubbornly committed to Derrick Henry. And what I mean by that is, you've got the league's best rushing defense, the Bucks, right? Last week, uh, they're just going to keep handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter that they're hitting a brick wall every time he hands off. That's their game plan. So if you watch the game that the 49ers had, Tevin Coleman, then I think you're definitely encouraged, and that should spell a big day for Derrick Henry. But I just don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know that I trust the competence of the coaching staff to really get it done, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, Shanahan, he knows us coming from the Falcons. He dialed up a hell of a game plan. So, I mean, it is what it is with that game. I mean, there's a lot of misdirection. We got, I mean, these tight end screens. They absolutely drew up deep. If there was a perfect such thing as a perfect game plan against the Panthers, that was it. So I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I mean, we had a very bad showing. But two, I don't think. I'm a little nervous with Derrick Henry just because he's a battering ram. But I will say that one of our a chat, we call them chat cats. They're the listeners on our podcast, and they did bring up a very good point. We are pretty solid against banger running backs, if that makes sense. The Leonard
Yeah.
Fournettes. We're a little bit better. I'm just a little. I'm hoping that the tackling comes along, and Luke is as long as we can see it coming. Luke's read and react is very good. Just that misdirection absolutely kills it. If you guys start throwing guys in motion and all that kind of funny trickery, we might be in trouble. But I don't see that. We did watch. Dave and I did actually watch. One of our best friends is a Bucks fan, and we actually sat down and watched almost the entire game. We missed a little bit of the end due to the Panthers game started. But you guys, like you said, you guys did pound the ball. And Derrick Henry did break. I thought, what was Derrick Henry's total rushing yards during that game? I thought he fared pretty well. He broke a couple runs.
He finished the game with 75 yards. One of those was a
Okay.
34 yarder,
Yeah.
and the other was a 16 to 20 yarder, somewhere
Yeah.
like that. But he also got 16 carries. So if you take those two runs
Yeah.
out,
Yeah. Yeah.
his average yards per carry were way down, really low. And it was that sort of lack of creativity when they saw Mike Vrabel and Art Smith, who, to be fair, Art Smith is a rookie signal caller, or rookie play caller, excuse me. Um, they, instead of going away from those negative runs and maybe getting receivers like Adam Humphries and A.J. Brown on some of these quick slants and motions and stuff like that, they just stayed committed to the run.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be a very interesting matchup. I think we can be beat on the ground. If you're gonna beat us, then you beat us on the ground. I don't think Tannehill's gonna pick us apart. Our secondary is much improved. I keep saying this every week. I know our listeners are probably tired of hearing it, but the fact that we've got the same members of the secondary back-to-back years is very important. We haven't had that in forever, probably. I don't remember the last time we've had the same two corners at least back-to-back. So the fact that we got a little bit of continuity back there, they are playing very well. We just got gashed on the run game in the run game last week. So I don't think Tannehill's going to beat us through the air. If you guys do beat us, I say if Derrick Henry has 100, 110 plus, we're in trouble. We are in trouble if that happens. Um, but on the defensive side, you guys are stout. Let's just talk a little bit about your defense personnel real quick. I know you guys have we do kind of a little bit of a draft, a little draft primer where we look through a couple of guys, and you guys got two of my guys back to back years. You got Jeff Simmons, who we absolutely loved. I would have taken
Oh
him.
my God, man.
We had a love fest with Jeff Simmons, and we saw him. I was very excited to see him last week play. Now that he's
He
healthy,
disappeared.
it's all right. It's all right. He'll come back. Um, but now that we'll get him back. But now that that Jeff Simmons is back, I'm concerned about that. And then also Harold Landry. Harold Landry is the other guy we also liked from Boston College. So those two guys definitely should. Harold Landry, has 5 sacks. He's got 5 sacks on the season, so he's been a problem. He's been a problem. So it should be very interesting from the defensive side of the ball. I think we're going to get challenged again. Like he said, I don't think they've seen a McCaffrey, but it is what it is at that point. Um, Dave, any thoughts? You saw the defense? Any thoughts on the defense?
The defense is good, man. Like, I was impressed by how well that defense played. Um, and now that they actually have a quarterback that can execute, I think they rub off on that as well, and so does Tannehill. I don't. I'm concerned. My biggest concern right now is Rivera keeping one line.
Offensive line.
Yeah, man. Like, if he's out here swapping folks mid stride, I'm gonna have a problem with that again. Just like I had a problem with it in the 49ers game.
Yeah, that's a big problem. We got to keep the offensive line together and get a guy there and keep him there. We can't rely on Darrell Williams, trying to get him paid. You got to put the best guys out there, regardless of the fact. So hopefully, we can keep that same line. One note. Stoney's coming back. One note.
Yeah, Stoney's back.
One note on their defense, Dave, is that they give up 16.9 points a game, which is crazy. Welcome back, Stoney. It's all good. We just continue, so I'll come back to you in a second. 16.9 points a game. I think they've only given up 20 plus points twice this season, which is kind of crazy.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. But Stoney, just to circle back around, I was talking about Jeff Simmons, and how we do a little draft preview, where we kind of preview some of the guys coming out of the draft, and we absolutely love Jeff Simmons. He was one of my guys, and I'm happy to see him back on the field. And he looked pretty good. He looked really good in his debut. So I'm happy to see him back. And Harold Landry was the other guy who leads, I think, you guys in sacks. He has 5 sacks on the season. Two guys we both love. We love both of those guys. And can you talk a little bit about those guys, how they're doing this season? And look, we just said it, 16.9 points a game, and only allowed 20 plus points twice this season. Talk a little bit about that, and specifically those two guys.
Yeah, I think the Titans have struck gold with Big Jeff, as we call him down here. That's the nickname that's catching on in Nashville. This guy is just phenomenal. To have missed as much time as he has, forget the injury itself. I mean, just missing time as a rookie. It's crazy to see him come in these 2 games and have such an impact. And I think what you're going to see is a really good young defensive line over the course of the next several seasons. This guy's going to extend Jarrell Casey's career by 2 seasons, and together they're just very, very disruptive. So we're seeing an immediate return of investment on Simmons. Just hope that it plays out that way for the rest of the year. And as for Harold Landry, this guy's a pure pass rush specialist. Excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied here. Pure pass rush guy, but the Titans don't entirely use him like that. They've got him out covering tight ends sometimes. They've got him taking on blocks in the run game and everything. And this is a guy that it feels like if they could figure out how to use him properly, he could be an absolute beast. But there are a lot of good, young, talented defensive players on this unit.
Yeah, and we were just talking about, as you dropped for a second, we were just talking about one of our concerns is our offensive line. Can you tell me when Harold Landry's on the field, what side is he usually rushing, or is he moved around? I'm just curious.
Sorry, you broke up on me a little bit
Yeah.
there.
So what side does Harold Landry rush? Is it the left or the right side, or do you guys move him around?
He's moved around. I mean,
Okay.
they have him both sides of the field. They have him in the middle of the field. They've got him, serving popcorn in the stands. That dude's
Nice,
everywhere.
nice. Yeah. So because one of our problems is that we right now we're shuffling around left tackle, and it's not pretty.
Hmm.
Okay. We started during the 49ers game. We started out with one configuration, swapped immediately on the second. Dang, Dave. What swapped immediately
Yo, man, don't take much of my house,
on
man.
the second on the second series, we swapped immediately to another rotation. So we have some concerns on the offensive line, and this game could be bad. You put Kyle Allen again, undrafted free agent. You get what you get with him, and if you can get some pressure on him, it could mean a long day for the Panthers offense. Albeit we do have Christian McCaffrey, the ultimate weapon on offense, and hopefully he can save us. And we got some other weapons. I mean, we got Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, guys that nobody's really talking about like that, just because they don't get the stats that they should be getting, just because of our quarterback situation. Even when Cam was a quarterback, they weren't getting what they should, just because we've got McCaffrey back there. But hopefully McCaffrey can carry us through because our offensive line is not pretty, and I think we're going to get exposed there. Um, hopefully we can hold up. Interior, we're fine. Trey and Van Roten and Paradis, they hold up pretty well. So hopefully we can limit Simmons and the pressure that comes up the middle there. But it could be a long day for Kyle Allen
Yeah,
in the
and
offensive line.
I would add that I think the Titans secondary is kind of overlooked. You've got really good guys. Kevin Byard's an all-pro type safety. Malcolm Butler has played well against Julio Jones this season so far. Logan Ryan may be the MVP of this defense so far. I know Mike Evans had a ton of receptions, a ton of yardage. For some reason, the coaching staff put LaShawn Sims, who is the Titans' fourth corner, only playing because Adoree Jackson's hurt. They put him one-on-one with Evans, and Evans just torched him all day. But once they made the switch and started giving him some help and getting Logan Ryan on Evans more, he was pretty quiet in the second half of that game. So I do think the secondary, though they're not showing up, popping off all these interceptions and turnovers and everything, I think this is still one of the strengths of this team.
Yeah, we mirror the same thing. I feel the same way. We got Gerald McCoy up front. Mario Addison, he's disappeared the past what well, he disappeared last game. But Mario Addison, he was up there, right there with Shaq Barrett and the top sack leaders. Brian Burns, who's pissed off because he hasn't played. He injured his wrist and he's playing with the club. And he was pissed. Played 33% of snaps last game. So hopefully we can get him some more snaps. And you got Bruce Irvin up front. We're really really good, and I feel like our the same similar to you guys. Our secondary gets overlooked. Bradbury's playing very well. You got Eric Reed back there, playing safety. Trey Boston, Dante Jackson, who just returned back, and Ross Cockrell. Our secondary is playing very well, and our defense is. I mean, outside of that 49ers game, was playing pretty well, man, getting pressure. So, just a quick question: how's your guys' offensive line? I know you guys had some. I don't know if you guys had some injuries. I know some guys got hurt, banged up, but what's your guys' offensive line look like?
It was basically a sieve through the first four games of the season. You had Taylor Lewan serving his suspension for uh, banned substance abuse, and Dennis Kelly at left tackle, I thought did a serviceable job. Jack Conklin, who was once an all-pro right tackle, hasn't been playing at the same level. They've switched some things around at right guard. They're starting rookie third-round pick Nate Davis there. Ben Jones is decent at center. He might be hurt for this game. Roger Saffold left guards out. This is going to be a questionable unit on Sunday, and I think it's something that even when healthy, this unit wasn't able to pass protect well for Marcus Mariota or Ryan Tannehill. And the only difference between the two being Tannehill was getting the ball out quicker. So I think this is definitely a weakness that the Panthers' defensive line and all those edge rushers you mentioned earlier, I think it's something they can exploit.
Yeah, we do good exploiting weak offensive lines. You can ask the Bucks about that. I mean, we took advantage of it. They had similar injuries as well. I think their whole right side was missing. They had some guys when we played them the second time we played the Bucks, and we destroyed them completely. So, but they're a familiar opponent. We know them. I don't know if that we'll have. Can't say that we'll have the same results with the Titans, but we do fare well as we should against banged up offensive line. So
I'm telling you,
uh,
nervous,
yeah, I mean, now, like I
nervous.
said, now that we're talking through it, I'm getting a little bit more confident. But I'm Derrick Henry,
I'm
I still
confident,
like.
but when that stat line came up that we never beat you guys at home, that was wild to me, man.
Yeah, I never knew that. I know it's only what once every 8 years
Yeah.
that we actually end up in Charlotte,
Hmm.
but I didn't realize that was the case. That kind of, you guys got me coming around a little bit now.
A little role reversal. A little role reversal. That's funny. But Dave, any other questions?
um, is Corey Davis the real deal?
Ah, that's a tough one. You want to ask me about AJ Brown? Broadway Brown's the real deal right there. I love me some AJ Brown. Corey Davis has all of the physical tools to be a number one receiver in the NFL. And the jury is still out on him being the fifth overall pick from 2017. I mean, the guy has flashes where, he looks like he can be dominant in this league. And maybe it's the inconsistency at the quarterback position. Maybe it's the offensive coordinator not really dialing up a lot of deep throws to wide receivers in this offense. But it's hard to answer. It's hard to answer. He has the potential to be the real deal, but if you're asking me point blank at this point in his career, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
And you guys just to go along with that receiving core, you guys also got Adam Humphries, who's very familiar as a former Buck, familiar with what the Panthers want to do. That could be another plus on your side. He kind
Yeah.
of I think he's had some solid games against us too, if I'm not mistaken. I
He's
could
the
be
third
wrong.
leading receiver for the team.
Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but I
He's
think he's played well against us before.
he's converting first downs too, and it's interesting the way that Art Smith and Mike Vrabel are using him because he's not, he really is just sticking in that slot role, and they're kind of moving him around the field a little bit, but he really is just he's catching passes, converting first downs, but this offense just does not utilize the wide receiving position very heavily. You looked at a certain point in that game against Tampa Bay, and Jonnu Smith and Anthony Ferkser, the second and third tight ends on this team who were getting more action because of the absence of Delaney Walker, had 8 targets between the two of them. The entirety of the Titans receiving core, that's Corey Davis, A.J. Brown, Adam Humphries, and Tajay Sharp, combined for eight targets as well.
Wow.
And until until the Titans finally figured out to go away from Derrick Henry stubbornly running against the brick wall that is the Bucs run defense, they started airing it out. Before that point in the game, Titans receivers combined for 3 catches for 14 yards.
Wow, and
So
that's
it's
interesting against the worst secondary in the league too.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Why are these coaches doing what they're doing?
Right. That's interesting. Interesting. So I got to put you on the spot. After all these shows, I got to ask for a prediction. I know we kind of talked through it. We talked through it. I'm gonna start with Dave just to give you a little bit of time. But Dave, give me a prediction. What you got this week?
It's gonna be low scoring. We'll probably win this. It's gonna be close too. I expect this game. I think the game's gonna be slow, but it's gonna be like a quick game. But it's gonna be hard hitting. Two good defenses, two top 10 defenses about to beat the crap out of each other for 60 minutes. I'm gonna go 17-14 Carolina. It's gonna be close, man.
Wow, that's about on average 17 points is what they're giving up. So that's
Yeah.
you kind of spot on with that. All right, Stoney, what you got? What you got? What's your official prediction
I was
for
going
the
to say
game on Sunday?
17-14 Panthers. I can't say that now. I got to
Wow.
come up
No,
with something
But
no,
different.
you
you can
can.
say
You
it.
can agree with me. It's fine.
Just
People
walk
do it
through
all
it.
the time.
Walk through it. You
I,
can say
I
it.
do agree with you. I don't think I think where Derrick Henry excels is when they're able to bounce him outside. Once he can get to the second level and gets one-on-one with linebackers and defensive backs, either he's going to run right by the linebackers, or he's going to mow down the safeties and the corners. But I don't know that the Titans are going to get the time to get comfortable and get into a rhythm on offense because of the weaknesses on offensive line. I think that the Panthers pass rush is going to feast on Sunday, and that's ultimately going to be the difference in the game.
Yeah. Okay. So for me, listen, man. I'm at a crossroads. All right. So we've seen this story before. Last year, we got blown out by Pittsburgh. And from that point on, our season went downhill. I mean, we strung together what 9 straight losses or something like that. I don't. There were so many. I don't remember how many there were. We strung together a lot of losses, back to back to back to back to back losses. All right. This year we get blown out by the 49ers. How do we react? All right. How are we going to come back? Because last year we didn't do it very well. So how do we respond? To me, there was a lot. Everybody's talking about it. They took it on the chin, very nonchalant. Um, I just don't know, man. I want to say we get the dub. I want to say 2020 to 14. I'm not very confident about it. I'm not very confident at all. I can see this going the opposite way. I can see it being 2014 Titans. I just don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know how this game is gonna go. I'm shook from last year. I've got
Scared to
PTSD.
let, scared to death, scared to look. You shook.
Listen, man, I got PTSD from last year, bro. Like I don't know how this is gonna go. So I just don't know. I'm really at a loss. I can't guess it. I don't know. And that's just gonna be very interesting. Very good game though. I can't wait. So any Dave, you got any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Nah, man, I'm good. I appreciate you coming, bro. Once again, shout out your stuff so you can get so our chat cast can know where to find you, and
Very,
hopefully they
Yeah,
won't spam you if we win.
I will say a very good Twitter follow, by the way. So I think I hit the spot follow button 2 days ago, and some of the tweets were funny. So I just very good follow on Twitter, by the way. But go ahead and shout
hey,
yourself out, and we'll end it
I
off.
appreciate that, man. The website is sobrosnetwork.com. The podcast is the Unofficial Titans Podcast. You can follow me at Stoney Keeley, at Sobros Titans on Twitter. I'm out there. Come say hey.
All right, man. Appreciate it. That being said, we're gonna end this thing, man. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys the next time. Keep pounding.